School board meeting order of October 1st. Dave, roll call please.
Ron is absent. Dick is absent. John?
Here.
Lord? Here. I'm here. Joe?
Here.
Jim?
Present. Proof of notice.
As stated in the agenda.
Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Joe, second by Norm. Any questions on the agenda? Joe?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carried 5-0-2. Citizens' comments. Resolution 181975. Approval of minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dave. By Norm. Second by Joe. Any questions on the minutes? I don't know if we can approve,
Aye. People weren't there.
but Norm
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Abstain.
abstained, so can't approve the minutes.
Well, hold on, you could still, it could stop you from voting.
Yeah, if you read them, they look
Yeah,
like it,
I
right?
could stop you from
Okay.
voting.
Okay, then I'll say aye.
Aye. Motion carried 5-0-3. Dave, any communications?
Not, you know.
Okay. Resolution 181976, approval of regular semi-monthly bills.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Joe, seconded by Norm. Any questions on the bills? Joe?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion carried 5-0-2. Committee reports, buildings and grounds.
This is weird. Got it.
Sure, I
It's pretty self-explanatory.
So, is my turn? Okay, so as a school district, we have one document that we put together. It's well organized and it articulates, these are our capital maintenance projects by site. So we've got district, that includes athletics, then you've got the 3 buildings and the bus garage. So what we did is we did a walkthrough of all of the facilities just to kind of see state of the state and the progress that we've made. So the minutes reflect some of the work that was done over the summer. And again, we did have a referendum, but really our look was at what was district funded, specific through our budget versus referendum dollars. So we made a lot of progress, and probably we still have about 30% of the funds that we have not encumbered. Some of the work is still about to occur this fall, and others we're just kind of holding on to and seeing how the rest of the school year goes. But in general, there's a lot of, our local budget did more some cosmetic and then many safety things as far as handrails at the gym entrance at the high school, handrails in the gym bleachers, the new staircase for the press box, a new fence on the set of bleachers where it's more of a student section that our intention is to have, and some concrete work. So if you really look at it, it's very modest amount of work, but it's important stuff for us this school year. Some of the cosmetic stuff was carpet replacement at the middle school. We did do a big lighting initiative at our middle school so they can have some zone lighting in grades 6 and 8. Next year will be 7th grade. So right now, some of the classrooms, most of the classrooms, the lights are on or they're off. So that's where you see a lot of more residential lights in the room because there's no zones. So like right here, if you look at the projector, we have a zone that's set up right now, and it's dark over there. Well, they don't have, it's either on or it's off. So the way the ballasts are set up in those rooms, the prior lighting structure, we actually had to rewire the whole room in order to have that. So we're gonna chip away at it to make sure that we have flexibility in those classrooms, that's doing right by the kids and the teachers. So, and then we also added in some sliding doors, we actually added doors back into classrooms this summer. And we did put some windows into the middle pods at the middle schools. So we have a model setup that we're trying to have in every one of our pods by grade level. So again, I'll use the words to the right, we're kind of chipping away at it, we're working with our budget, and we have a vision on what we want these spaces to be. So 2 years ago, we knocked out, or 3 years ago, like entire sections of wall, almost larger than that screen, and actually now we want to put it back. And we just learn from our staff and listen to the kids, but it's about flexibility. We absolutely want flexibility. So what's going back is not a wall. What's going back are some glass doors that can be open or closed, depending on the needs of what's happening with the kids that day. We did have a discussion about our insurance coverage and the change in our landscape and the buildings, and making sure that our bus garage is properly insured. It came in at a different amount than we thought it should be. So we talked a little bit about that, and we'll actually have our representative for commercial insurance come and meet with the committee just to talk
What kind
about
of different amount?
undervalued. So like what they said compared to what we think it is, it came in undervalued. So, but we have an umbrella policy. We're not concerned. We just want it to be right. So we're definitely properly insured as a school district, and the umbrella goes a long way to make sure we're covered. It's just was missing it. So Travis is going to bring in some picture pages for all of us. So I told him not to rush it. We just had this on Thursday. It was like a 3-hour meeting, and I want it to be done right versus just coming in and just throwing a bunch of stuff at you. So he'll be coming in to show you pictures of the work and our progress up to this point. In the meantime, referendum-wise, there was a referendum update that just came out on Friday. Every 2 weeks we get something that Findorf creates. Just everybody receives that? Okay, good. So that's the gist of the facility work. And then we did talk about, on that list, we have projects that are projected for 2019-20. And so we can start now already planning with district dollars what we would like to see prioritized for work. And then we do have a larger scale capital maintenance plan that we're going to bring forward and start talking more strategy on some of those items. They get a little intimidating because some of those dollar amounts are not small, but in the meantime, it is what it is. So we identified a lot of needs as a school district when we did our study a few years ago, and those needs, if not addressed by the referendum, they're still there. They may be 10 years out, but we've identified them, and now we can really start to try to be more strategic. And actually, all of these things, it's great to see these safety topics be addressed. They came up a few years ago, and it's nice to see them not on the list. So it was a very productive meeting. I think it was great to get into all the buildings. Now, did you have anything you want to add?
No, that's pretty much.
Yeah, I had one.
Okay.
Because the referendum activity, we'd say probably a year from now, there's gonna be so much more value in those buildings that we would go around with the insurance rep and kind of
Yeah.
revalue everything in there.
Contents included, not just structure, but the change in the contents. We did did a quick look-see at the referendum budget itself, and we're in a great position as of right now. We are under budget overall. We have the contingency dollars for Parkview and middle school have been removed, so we don't have to carry those anymore. Those projects are pretty much done. And the high school still has all of the contingency dollars that have not been touched, which is around $400,000. That's just in case. And when you do a deep renovation like we have, everybody needs to know, what was renovated this summer was pretty much a completely new building with the envelope of the building, like the brick outside. That's all that's really left, on the roof. And the roof is, that's going to go out to bid soon. We're hoping to get that work done this fall still, the remaining roof project. So we're in a good place, and we'll be more formal giving you a budget update on that, but overall, we just did a quick review. Ryan and I need to look at our district owned accounts and reconcile those with the Findorf budget too. I think that just needs a couple hours. Brian and Angie have done an exceptional job of record keeping everything. It just needs some attention so we can give you some good solid data. but right now, looks like the front of the school, like the entire scope of everything that we had planned for and then some, we're good. It all be there. So, thanks to the work of Findorf and Gray and all of our subcontractors. So that-
All right, thank you. Personnel meeting we had on the 27th. The subjects discussed were fiscal year support staff compensation, school year support staff compensation, and professional staff stipends. So we spent an hour and a half just discussing what if we need to adjust the wages, the highs and lows of each category. So you'll be seeing resolutions coming up for approval tonight as far as what the compensation is being suggested.
Right, pretty much knows the agenda.
Yeah, yeah. So that's about it for the personnel meeting. So it was Dick, myself, Scott, and Lee. So moving on into the administrative report.
Okay, got some handouts, here we go. So, first and foremost, the school perceptions, they're working with WSB. Yeah, on an annual basis, they do a board development survey. So, fill it out, go online, and do this if you choose to. So, I'm looking at number 1. My responsibility is to distribute. What happens from there, that's your call. And if you lose one, I have extras. They gave us way more than. And each one of these has an individual code, by the
I
way.
need one more.
You do? Sorry.
We didn't want to give one person
Yeah, you don't get to do it. Yeah, it's, like I said, I do have some extras. So the key work of school boards, they're looking for your feedback. All right. Last week I went to a meeting about a city. They have made a formal announcement that they are closing TID 3. They're closing it this fall. So then, from there, that sparked a lot of interest on what does that mean to Mayville School District? How quickly will that impact Mayville School District? And in the long run, how does that impact the district? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you'll get an extra one, that's okay. So, what we know is it's gonna close this fall, and that it will not impact this year's budget. So that was the most important thing that I wanted to vet out. Like, we have an annual meeting coming up here, a public budget. If the TIF is closing and that's gonna impact that, we would like to, he did it, do it. I cannot
He just doesn't want me to
I cannot
have one,
count
that's
and
all.
talk at the same time. Got it. Okay, so, I always want to make sure with Ryan that we were presenting the right budget. So there's one thing to get revenue from closing it, but there's another thing that it impacts the mill rate. And we're going into an annual meeting that says this is the mill rate, and then we're way off. So, all right, so what you have here is you have, the first page is the history of our levy and our aid. And really what I wanted to point to, me personally, I highlighted the right-hand side, the mill rate. So, for 2018, our updated budget, our mill rate projection is $10.21. So that's down 83 cents from last year. So next, in 2019, and I have that highlighted, that it goes down to 968.
What about state aid being affected as well? Because you're adding assessed value, which should affect your state aid, might be something else to take a look at.
Okay, that's in the Baird model.
That's
So
in
if
the
you
Baird
flip to
model.
the next page,
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
All right.
because what we care about is the overall,
The overall.
it's the levy and the aid together, and what happens for us. So per the Baird, so we contacted Baird, and the left-hand side, so you've got 2018, which is, that's last year. Then you've got 2019, that's this model that it's off on right now. So it should be $10.20. So they don't have the updated information. So when we go in December, Ryan and I, there's a workshop, they'll get the updated content. So then their information will be talking with ours too, be on the same page. So there it goes from 1020, and then you need to drop down to the bottom, because the top is the base model, and it just shows on its own, the budget is projected, the mill rate is projected to drop 50 cents. But if you were to take into account the TID 3 closing, it goes down to $10.14. Which, if you start with the 1020, then you go back to my chicken scratch on the front, and it would go down to $9.68. But now, here's the thing, it's a one-year dip, according to Baird. And then the state of Wisconsin looks at the overall property values and it just levies out. So it's like it needs to catch up with itself, is what happens. So as far as a big picture goes, it's only a one-year change in the mill rate. So I think what matters at that point in time is the comfort level of the Board of Education on what a plan is. So like Joe had mentioned, like an operational referendum, well, according to Baird, it only goes down once, and then it goes right back up again. So that would be a tough one, I would say, based upon that information. Now, we've got to go in and we'll study some more, but this is just preliminary information from them. But this would be 2 years ago, when I first came here, we knew that this was going to fall off sometime. So in our study of finances, we did look at this, and Baird told me back then it was just for a one-year dip too. There's also, when our little bit of debt that we have that falls off, it's a tiny sliver, that had a minimal impact as well. It's like everything's a one-year dip and then really just kind of just dissolves. So the back page is the fund balance. And our policies, you guys know, I wrote it on there, but you know what our policy says our fund balance minimum is supposed to be? 15%. So it's 15%. So we're sitting at right now at a 29.86%. And then as our budget goes down, then the fund balance percentage would go up actually. You know? So you as a board, this is a great place to be. It's a great financial position to be in. So you have a decision to make throughout many years to say, okay, when are you going, what is the plans for that? And you have a policy that states like $100,000 is dedicated towards the bus. $100,000 is dedicated towards the auditorium. So when we talk about the budget for the referendum, it does include $100,000 of fund balance to go towards auditorium. Per our policy, that's what it's for. You know? So, but in the big picture, that's not much for a $3.85 million fund balance that adds up to 29.86% of the overall budget. So, I just want to point that out. So if we're looking at referendum ever for anything, you have to be cognizant of your current fund balance, also cognizant of the overall mill rate itself. And like right now, at 10/21, looking back, 2015 was 10/57, and then the last time it was at that amount was 2000 in 1999. So ideally, what's the right mill rate fit for Mayville School District? And when we go down to 10/21, we have a dip then to 968, and we're projected to go back up to 10/21. So when I share something like this with Baird and I talk to some other districts, one of the things that they have discussed is that the district taking advantage of an opportunity to do defeasance. And defeasance is when we have debt. If you have existing debt, which we do, right? Hello. So with a $24.5 million referendum, we could levy up to 10/21, whatever dollar amount you choose. It could be 30 cents. Right now, there are many unknowns in the state of Wisconsin as far as the next biennial budget. I can't tell you what it's going to be. Really, the election is huge as far as for public schools right now when it comes to that. And we have time. So I do just want to point it out. We've got plenty of time to talk about it. So I think this winter, we should start having a discussion as the dust settles with the overall budget and everything. In 2019-20, do you have any plans to do anything other than to levy to the max of what our capability is for just our overall budget? I did learn that there are benefits financially to the community, to the school district for paying off the bonds earlier, you do save an interest overall. So that does impact the overall lifespan of the loan itself. So there is financial benefit of doing it. So I can do some follow-up on that one, and I guess I just will say I will do some follow-up on that one, just so to provide as much information to you as possible. Ryan, sitting in the audience tonight, do you have anything from the audience, Ryan, that you'd want to add? Did you do a good job?
Well, not really, except we did get an email last week from DPI on a
I did not
proposal.
do a good job?
No, not that part. I don't really have much to add. We did get an email from DPI on a 2019-2021 biennial budget. It's 213 pages. And
Yeah. There's a ton of budget reform that's being recommended by the DPI, so we'll just see what sticks.
Yeah, that's another thing,
I
so
mean-
you can plan for the next 12 months, and then in month 12, it could be, something could come down.
Yeah,
the
special ed funding, there's a lot of recommendations there. I mean, it's many unknowns.
And I know you had talked to Horcon, and Horcon paid their bonds off early, my understanding
Correct,
is
yep.
the bond is,
And Lamira, both
the-
have.
you got your coupon rate, your interest rate, how would you, and we all know regularly, it would, paying off any loan early is good, but when you pay off a bond early, my understanding is you still pay that interest no matter what. So bonds work a little bit different, so. That'd have to be taken. a look
Yeah,
at,
you know what,
so-
here's what we have to do.
Yeah,
So
we
this
definitely
is,
need to retake a look at that, because I don't.
it's called financial advisor, Barrett, we'll have him come. So as of right now, this is literally the information that he shared, so this document here. And then, we need to get our budget updated because we're still looking at numbers that I have to take an ink pen to, right? So I like as concrete as possible and to actually do a deeper level of a study. But in the meantime, it does make sense, I did hear that it's going to, it's the second time when the TID closes, it would be a benefit. I did not mention, by the way, the city believes it's about $100,000 in revenue that we would receive.
Get back, sure.
Okay, so that's just outside of the overall budget, so that's $100,000 that would go into the fund balance is what it would do. So next year, and that's an estimate also, that's not a set amount. So for the 2018-19 school year, the TID closing actually has no impact. But what it does do by them sharing this information with us now is that we can start discussing and planning and saying, is there anything, any kind of plan of action we want to do? And then it won't come from left field for the community if we are planning something, and I just think that's a good thing to start working on this winter and spring. So, any other questions on the TID and the documents I shared? So, that's what I have for update on that for now. A lot of my comments for tonight are going to be shared for these action items that are coming up later on the agenda. Coming up, we've got in-service on October 5th, and our budget that needs to go in the newspaper is going to be sent on October 12th. We have a regular meeting on October 15th. And what we would like, Ryan and I recommend, having the annual meeting on October 29th. It's a Monday, May, 6 o'clock. Does that work for you guys? Okay, it's important. We just need to there. So we just want to verify because the notification, we have it all set for you tonight. You'll see what's going to go in the newspaper. We just want to make sure the date is right. So that gives us plenty of time for the state of Wisconsin to let us know what our date is. And even last year, we really waited, and there was a itty-bitty change still. So we'll do the best that we can do. So,
Any chance we could take a look, when does DPI publish everyone else's mill rates and stuff like that?
you can go, like right now, you can download a revenue limit worksheet,
Oh, I
and you
know.
can just find everybody's mill rate. This year's mill rate?
Yeah, this year.
Oh,
And
that's
it
still-
won't be published till,
no way.
what, January or something
Yep.
like that?
Yep, spring. Now, if we want to go and find out what our neighbors are like, that kind of stuff,
No,
no.
I'm talking the whole state.
State, yeah, you have to, we'll have to wait for sure. Now, think about, I'm just trying to be concrete here. So that revenue limit worksheet, it gets locked, right?
Yes, it does.
Once they lock in the aid, we could go in, you can get anybody's
Yeah, you can go on there.
recommended one, but it doesn't mean that's what they actually levied.